Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the podcast. It's your host Sarah, and today it's just you and me, and we're talking interpersonal effectiveness. Let me share a little story. So the other night, I'm minding my own business. It's like 8:30, whatever. I'm home alone. Not a big deal. But Talon normally gets home from tattooing around like 9:30 at the latest. He went to work around 3. I got home around 4:30. So I expected that it would be just like any other night. I expected to see him in a couple hours. And normally he'll like text me in between tattoo clients, and I hadn't heard from him since 3, whatever. So the evening goes on. I'm watching Age of Attraction. Love-hate relationship with reality TV over here. I have so much I could say about Age of Attraction, but the one thing I will say is that we cannot ignore age gap relationships having an inherent power dynamic. There are some age gap relationships that are like totally healthy and appropriate, but it's got to be because people are aware of the potential for a power dynamic. When you're just ignoring it, that's really dangerous. Okay, anyways, soapbox. So it creeps up to 9:30, it creeps up to 10, it creeps up to 11, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm starting to get triggered because I was married to a cop who never fucking came home. I always went to bed alone, but that's my stuff. That's not Talon's stuff. I'm just gonna go to bed. I sent him a couple of text messages, nothing mean, and I was like, I'm going to bed. But then I had a nightmare that he died. I know I had a nightmare that he died because I was like starting to get worried about him. So when I woke up again like an hour and a half later, it was like 12:30, still no text or call from him. He's still not home. I was like, fuck it, I'm calling the shop. So I called the shop and his coworker answered, and right away she knew it was me. She's like, Talon's here with us. I'm so sorry. We've just been hanging out. And I was like, okay, sounds good. She's like, let me put him on the phone. And he was like, hey. And I just hung up on him. Because hanging up on him was better than me being like, fuck right off, dude. Like, I can't even with you. You can't take the time to send your wife a text and say, like, I don't know, I'll be 4 hours late getting home. Hanging up on him was not like the most effective, but it was more effective than that was going to be. But in a situation like this, it's super important to me that he and I repair, right? Because like my feelings were hurt and I was scared, and that's completely valid. And I need my husband to acknowledge that. And so what do we need as people with borderline? We need like a good formula for how to have conversations about the hard things and like how to ask for our needs to be met. So I'm going to go over the Dear Man skill. These are all part of the interpersonal effectiveness modules in DBT. And I like to call this like the boundary setting formula, right? Like A plus B equals C. Of course, that's not like how human relationships work, but it is an effective kind of groundwork for us to have these difficult conversations. So let's get into it. So I have the second edition DBT skills training handouts and worksheets. It's the kind of like teal blue cover by Marsha Linehan. So this is my DBT book. And if we go to page 125, we'll see interpersonal effectiveness handout 5. It goes on to page 126 as well. So this is the Dear Man. It's called Guideline for Objective Effectiveness, Getting What You Want. And like this idea of like getting what you want sounds bad, because we're taught to be like selfless humans, that like we should be serving others all the time. But fuck that. We're on this earth for a really short amount of time. We deserve to get our needs met. So getting what you want is totally appropriate. It's the way in which we go about getting what we want. Okay, so objective effectiveness, it refers to our ability to get what we want out of a social situation before making a request, dealing with conflict, or starting a difficult social interaction. We want to ask ourselves, what is my objective in this interaction? Once we have a really clear understanding of what our objective is, then we can build our Dear Man no problem. but it's about getting there too. Like when you're emotionally dysregulated, it's really hard to figure out, what do I want? So if I was like furious with Talon, which I wasn't furious, but I was very frustrated. But if I was like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, I wouldn't be able to identify what I want. I have to use my mindfulness skills and my distress tolerance skills to come back down to that 3, 4, 5 before I can get a clear understanding of what it is that I really want. What I wanted in this situation was validation from him that what he did wasn't okay, and also an agreement from him that he wasn't going to do that again. So that's really clear. So like most things with DBT, DEAR MAN is an acronym. D, describe, E, express, A, assert, R, reinforce, M, mindful, A, appear confident, and N, negotiate. Okay, let's go down the line. I love a linear, clear formula. I was not great at math in school. If you didn't hear that from the Gifted Child episode, math was not my forte, but I can follow directions. So D, describe. Describe the current situation. Stick to the facts. Tell the person exactly what you're reacting to. For example, you told me you would be home by dinner, but you didn't get here until 11. So for my situation, the facts are, typically Talon comes home and texts me throughout the middle of the day, letting me know when he'll be home. He didn't come home by that normal time, nor did he text me. I had to call the shop to find out where he was, which is abnormal for us. So those are the facts. So how do I turn that into a statement such as, you told me you would be home by dinner, but you didn't get here until 11? I would say something like, you normally text me throughout the day and you're typically home by 9 p.m. Tonight you didn't get home until 12:30 and you didn't tell me when you were coming home. Clear. And not like muddy clear, like clear. Just the facts. So then we go on to express, which is where we talk about our feelings. So E, express. Express your feelings and opinions about the situation. Don't assume that the other person knows how you feel. Use phrases such as I want instead of you should. I don't want instead of you shouldn't. For example, when you come home so late, I start worrying about you. That's right on, because my feelings were worry. And then when it had gone on for so long, I became frustrated, like he didn't care about me. So how do I express that? So my D, I clearly defined what happened. My E, when this happens, I felt worried about your safety. But then as time went on, I also felt frustrated because it felt like to me that you didn't care about letting me know where you were. So that's also really clear, which is why this formula is helpful. I didn't say to him, you don't care about me, you didn't want to come home. I didn't say, you fucked up by not texting me. I said, when this happens, I feel worried, and then I felt frustrated because, and then insert the facts. So no blaming, no shaming. That's what's really great about this formula. Okay, A, assert. Assert yourself by asking for what you want or saying no clearly. Do not assume that others will figure out what you want. Remember that others cannot read your mind. For example, I would really like it if you would call me when you were going to be late. This is so funny. I forgot that this was the example in the book because I haven't looked at this page in so long. But it's like literally my example too. So, what would I say? Next time I need you to text me and let me know when you're going to be home, if you're going to be home late. I also need you to validate that that was scary for me, not hearing from you for so long, and then having you randomly show up at 12:30. Like, I need you to validate that that would be scary for me. And then R, reinforce. Reinforce or reward the person ahead of time by explaining positive effects of getting what you want or what you need. If necessary, also clarify the negative consequences of not getting what you want or need. Remember also to reward the desired behavior after the fact. So, for example, I would be so relieved and a lot easier to live with if you would do that. What I don't love about this example is they say I would be a lot easier to live with, but they don't say why. Like if it was me, I would want more detail. Why are you going to be easier to live with? That's just like too ambiguous for me. So with my example with Talon, if you let me know when you're coming home, then I will feel safe and secure in our communication and our relationship. And if you don't let me know when you're coming home, then I will know that I should actually worry about you. So that is not a negative reinforcer. It's like a safety affirming statement. Like, I need you to be accountable because then I know to actually like worry about you and come looking for you. Because let's be real, a tattoo shop at 12:30, like maybe something weird could happen. We don't live in Portland anymore, but like, you know, there's cash hanging out in tattoo shops and there's, you know, people out there who need cash. So I'm always going to be worried about my husband's safety. And then there's that on top of it. So, dear. So here's my full statement. You typically text me and let me know what time you're coming home. You don't generally stay out later at work than like 9 o'clock. Tonight, I didn't get a text message from you, and I waited up, and then I went to sleep, and I had a bad dream that something bad happened to you. I still hadn't heard from you. When this happens, I feel worried, but I also feel frustrated because it feels like you don't care about me enough to check in with me. What I need from you is you to text me and let me know when you're coming home. If you do this, I will feel much more safe and secure in our communication and our relationship. But also, if you don't do this, then it's something to help me know that maybe something went wrong and I should worry about your safety and try to get in touch with you. So one of my favorite things about the R reinforce of the Dear Man is like, everybody wants a happy outcome. Everybody wants a happy ending. Nobody is like, oh, I really want a shitty relationship. No, that's not how humans work. So when you present with someone with a positive reinforcer, they're going to be like, oh yeah, of course I want my wife to feel safe and secure in our communication. And what she needs to feel that is X, Y, and Z. So that means that maybe I need to work at doing X, Y, and Z. Like this is logic. I love this formula. So that's the actual like language part of the formula. The man part of the formula is talking about how to communicate that language. So M, be mindful. Stay focused on the objective of the interaction and avoid being reactive or defensive. If necessary, calmly repeat your request. But also, if you need to, you can use the stop skill. So M, be mindful. A, appear confident. Use body language to project confidence, even if you don't feel like it. For me, this is like the least important part of the Dear Man, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think it's realistic to expect that everybody's going to be confident in their boundary setting statement or their feedback giving conversation. Like, I don't think that's a fair expectation. I certainly, when I've had to do a Dear Man, have been like shaking in my boots at times. This Dear Man with Talon wasn't that because I have a safe and secure attachment with him. And I knew that what I was asking for was reasonable. And I knew that he was not going to have any problem with what I was asking for. But if I was having a Dear Man with my father, for example, I would not be confident. I would be shaking in my boots. Like, those are two very different scenarios. So if you aren't able to appear confident, brush that off. That's okay. We don't have to be confident. We just have to show up and do the thing and see how it goes. And then N, negotiate. So know the limits of what you're willing to accept, but be willing to compromise within them. So I am not willing to compromise on Talon texting me or calling me, letting me know that he's going to be late. That just doesn't work for me. What I am willing to compromise on is like the timing of that. I don't need him to know at 3 p.m., but if he's going to be out later than 9:30, I need a text by 9 to let me know, because that's where I start to get worried. So that's a good example of negotiating. So that's the Dear Man, feedback giving formula, boundary setting formula, getting your needs met, whatever you want to call it. That's what our Dear Man is for. Thanks for listening to another episode of BBB, and I hope y'all are having a great weekend. Bye. Hi, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the Bold, Beautiful Borderline podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your content. That is super helpful for me. It helps us find additional folks who want to listen to the show, want to feel seen, family members who want to learn, and partners who want to understand. If you want to follow along to more than just the podcast, find us on Instagram at Bold Beautiful Borderline, find me at Borderline from Hell, or head over to boldbeautifulborderline.com, where there's information, resources, a place to leave a voicemail to be heard on the podcast, which I love, and just general content. All of that information can be found in the show notes. And if you want to get exclusive content, which is bonus episodes, journal prompts, worksheets, all sorts of extra stuff, sometimes videos of me with my hair very crazy, with kind of impulsive borderline rants, head over to Patreon and consider becoming a member. That is super helpful with creating content that allows me to destigmatize BPD and all of the other wild mental health struggles that we discuss on the podcast. A huge thanks to everyone who joins on the podcast to share their story and just generally helps keep this thing alive. Especially my friend Corey Evans from the Evergreen Band. He produced and created the music that is the intro and outro for this show, as well as the cover art that was created by my husband, Talon Abbott. Their information is found in the show notes. All of the information discussed in the podcast is purely personal experience. This is not medical recommendations. This is not therapy recommendations. There's no producer for this show. It's all me.